Oh, hello. It's 2020, and with it, a brand new GP promo, and wow, just look at this extraordinary full art Path to Exile you can pick up just by playing at an event at a Magic Fest. The amazing art of Chris Seaman just explodes all over this card, from top to bottom. I stand in awe of what has been created here. And I can't wait to get my hands on one. Heck, I'm going to try for a full playset this year. That way I can play with this spectacular promo in, what format is Path to Exile played in? One sec, let's see. Path to Exile is played in, here we go. Modern. Oh, God. I mean, oh, good. Modern. Listen, it might be an absolute dumpster fire right now, but all it needs to be amazing once more is... Here we go. Ban Oko. Is this real? Oko is a problem in Modern. Seriously? It's not like a meme that the kids are... Yeah. Ban, okay, so, all right, ban Oko in Modern, and Mox Opal while you're at it, and unban Splinter Twin. Modern is fixed, bada bing, bada bang. Meanwhile, let's talk about Pioneer. Presented here are the top 5 best cards for Pioneer from Theros Beyond. All joking aside about Modern, I truly have been having nothing but fun playing Pioneer. And now that the weekly bannings have ended and will simply take place the same time as any other format, I feel the time has never been better to build a deck and give this incredibly fun format a try. So what cards from Theros Beyond will likely take shape in the format? A lot, actually. My top 2 picks are particularly powerful for Pioneer, but before we get there, let's start with an honorable mention. The idyllic pick for the professor to present, and that, of course, is... Idyllic Tutor. Idyllic Tutor is a sorcery for 2 generic and 1 white. Search your library for an enchantment card, reveal it, and put it into your hand. Then shuffle your library. Chef's kiss on this reprint, making it Pioneer legal. Pioneer currently doesn't have a true enchantment deck yet, but with Theros and its pushed enchantment theme slamming down, that may not be the case for long. If anything is going to open that up alongside all of the new options available, it's Idyllic Tutor. There's a lot of ways that a Pioneer enchantment deck might go, with the 2 most likely potential shells being something akin to Esper Doom Foretold, only perhaps adding in new cards like Treacherous Blessing for some major draw. And I can also see a Bant Enchantress strategy, of course, and this could be particularly strong with Tutor when Pioneer has access to cards like Sphere of Safety and Eidolon of Blossoms. Either way, if enchantments come to Pioneer, so too will Idyllic Tutor. And if they somehow don't, hey, Commander Staple reprint, I've got no complaints. Wait, no complaints? Me? Feels weird. I guess that means Theros Beyond is party time, and number 5 is a 50-cent sleeper card that I'd snap up before its price goes up. The perfect piece to party with Pioneer with. May I persuade you to perchance play Galia of the Endless Dance? Galia of the Endless Dance is a legendary satyr for red and a green. She has haste and gives other satyrs you control +1/+1 and haste. Whenever you attack with 3 or more creatures, you may discard a card at random. If you do, draw 2 cards. There's a lot to like about this card, besides the fact that it is apparently friend of the channel Tappy Toe Claws in card form. But in terms of Pioneer, Gruul aggro lists have been slowly falling out of favor as the format stabilizes. Whether they were the collected company variants relying on Rabblemaster and Warboss, or the counters versions using Pelt Collector and Experiment 1, it's been hard to compete with classic mono red aggro builds that just get in faster and hit harder. Galia is what I think those Gruul aggro lists need to bring themselves back to the top. She slots so well into either of those strategies, though I'd probably pick the counters variant above any other for her, as that list plays weaker cards like Zerta Goblin, and Galia can help fill back up after playing out their hand. Sure, you're pitching a card at random, but you're also drawing 2, and draw is always critical in aggro lists, as running out of gas grass is usually endgame. Galia is just what Gruul wants, to swing in and keep swinging. And again, at only about 50 cents, she's a fiery pick for Pioneer. Now, number 4 is one reason why most creatures won't see play in Pioneer at all, and to be honest, I really wasn't too impressed with many of them. Why not? Well, they die to removal, of course, and number 4 is the spicy new removal of Pioneer with Drag to the Underworld. Drag to the Underworld, 2 generic and black. An instant that reads, this spell costs X less to cast, where X is your devotion to black. Destroy target creature. So this is especially relevant now that Pioneer is banning cards the same way and the same timing as any other format, because we can confidently look at what our removal options are. Currently, the leading removal spells in Pioneer are Fatal Push, Abrupt Decay, and Grasp of Darkness, which are somewhat limited in applications against creatures. Push is great, but not the modern powerhouse because Pioneer has no fetch lands. Abrupt Decay is triple mana and double color, and Grasp of Darkness can't remove anything with more than 4 toughness. But assuming you have a devotion of black equal to 2, Drag is the same cost as Grasp, but it universally destroys anything, period. No exceptions. Getting Drag to the Underworld down to only a casting cost of 2 is very easy in the format, especially for mono-black aggro, an established and strong deck already, which leaves us with a potent new removal spell, and best of all, it's pennies on the dollar. I guess there's no escaping number 3. It was just destined to be. I mean, when I think of the embodiment of red-green, I think of the god of destiny, not escaping your fate. If we think of fate as meaning free will or perhaps freedom of choice, then yeah, red-green is going to hate things like free will and freedom of choice. They're about destiny and fate, red-green, I guess. Anyway, either way, Klothys is a great card for Pioneer. Klothys, the god of destiny. 1 generic, 1 red, 1 green, a legendary enchantment creature. A god, indestructible, a 4/5. As long as your devotion to red and green is less than 7, Klothys isn't a creature. At the beginning of your pre-combat main phase, exile target card from a graveyard. If it was a land card, add red or green. Otherwise, you gain 2 life, and Klothys deals 2 damage to each opponent. So I was just talking about how those mono-red decks have been successfully edging out over the Gruul aggro builds in Pioneer, and that's exactly what I was thinking of when I saw Klothys, a Gruul card that I feel is destined, get it, to tip the scales. Do you get it? The graveyard is very important in Pioneer, from Phoenix to Dredge to Key Delve spells. Having a card that can be run out as early as turn 2 if you've got that turn 1 mana elf, and then be nearly unanswerable on the battlefield, slowly draining your opponents for 2 every turn, while simultaneously denying them an important resource in their graveyard, yeah, that's very powerful. Not to mention that late game it can turn into a 4/5 for all the better beatdowns. There's a tipping point where mono red is just too linear and lacking in tools to get ahead, and when Gruul decks can slam down a Klothys, they're going to regain their throne at the aggro shrine. Now, it's hard choices time, because these next 2 cards are particularly Pioneer powerful, and that format is going to be impacted by both of them in different ways. As usual, I can absolutely see arguments that number 2 maybe should have been number 1, and with this next number 2, yeah, that's definitely true. Hey, who'd have thought that yet another 3-mana mythic would be so powerful? In Simic. Again. Because 3-mana Mythic Simic is a thing now, I guess. Well, that number 2 slot, of course, goes to Uro, Titan of Nature's Wrath. Uro, Titan of Nature's Wrath, costs 1 Oko for a legendary creature, an Elder Giant, a 6/6. When Uro enters the battlefield, sacrifice it unless it escaped. Whenever Uro enters the battlefield or attacks, you gain 3 life and draw a card. Then you may put a land land card from your hand onto the battlefield. Euro can escape for green, blue, blue, and exiling 5 other cards from your graveyard. Euro is everything, and I mean everything Pioneer players want from a card, and so much more. Up front, it's a sorcery speed growth spiral that gains 3 life and can still be played turn 2 off of one of the 12 potential mana dorks you can play turn 1, if you are so inclined. From there, you will just have to play a normal game out until you can escape it or help speed up the process with cards like Satyr Wayfinder. It's card advantage, it's ramp, it's life gain in a very fast, aggressive format, and it will end games. Going over this card now, as I'm just filming the script that I wrote, I almost want to push it to number 1. It's bonkers pushed and powerful, and absolutely one of the best, if not the very best, from Theros for Pioneer. So what's my number 1 pick? The top card from the entire set for this new and potent format? Well, it's the biggest jerk face on Theros, of course, apparently crushed under a rock or something in the story, but in Pioneer, Healy Odd, Sun Crowned, will be the one crushing. Healy Odd, Sun Crowned is 2 generic and a white for a legendary enchantment creature. A god, indestructible, 5/5. As long as your devotion to white is less than 5, Healy Odd isn't a creature. Whenever you gain life, put a +1/+1 counter on target creature or enchantment you control. 1 generic and a white, another target creature gains lifelink until end of turn. I'm gonna be honest with you, I do find Euro more exciting. Euro is diverse and has so many possible plays. But Healy Odd is just, well, Healy Odd is here to combo with Walking Ballista. And bam, instant mainstay in Pioneer. With 1 activation on Ballista, it's just game over from infinite damage and life gain. Play design saw this, right? I mean, Pioneer is the new hot hit that they have been developing and planning on major push to prominence for years. So they knew about this combo, knew that it was coming, and felt it was cool, right? Either way, as a god, once on the board, Healy Odd is pretty safe, just like Clothis. And after that, you just need to find a Ballista for a good game. Even putting the combo aside, there's a really strong chance for Healy Odd to make an entire white archetype on his own, as he goes along very nicely with a similar effect from Archangel of Thune. Or combine the two. What powerful friends Healy Odd makes, though not as powerful as his enemies. Hashtag Team Elspeth. Hashtag I guess Healy Odd is stuck under a rock. How'd Soren get out of the rock? I did that? I don't know. There's ways out from rocks. Do you want more Pioneer content and insight? Well, then I cannot recommend enough Crew 3, a Pioneer podcast. Special thanks going out to them who have helped me in my Pioneer journey. Crew 3, a Pioneer podcast, is available on all major podcast platforms. I'll provide links in this video description. It's on iTunes, it's on Spotify. If you love Pioneer, you're going to love this podcast. Go check them out today. Now, I hope very much this video has been of some help to you. You can help me out by remembering to like, share, subscribe, or just by sharing this video with a friend. What cards from Theros Beyond do you think are going to have an impact in Pioneer? Let me know in the comments below.
Good Lord, what is happening in there?
The Mythic Championship.
The Mythic Championship. At this time of year, at this time of day, in this part of the country, held entirely inside your office.
Yes.
Can I watch?
No.